Jimmy's roster countdown reaches a very important defensive lineman. And did Ray Allen really commit to Alabama back in the day?
You are Locked On Bama, your daily podcast on the Alabama Crimson Tide, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey everybody, welcome back into Locked On Bama, HSA Radio Network's Luke Robinson, that's me. Alabama internet legend Jimmy Stein, that's him. This episode is brought to you by 5 Hour Energy, and we'll talk about 5 Hour Energy in just a little bit. I want to thank you every day for being every day because you made Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. There is kind of a big deal. So Jimmy, we're going to get into your roster countdown. I just saw this video of Ray Allen saying, I originally committed to Alabama. I went to Alabama and loved it. And I committed. Apparently the assistant coach at the time kind of hotboxed him. And he said, yeah, I love it here. I want my spot. And then he got back to wherever he was from. And his coach told him, hey, look, you may love Alabama and that's great, but you won't know if it's the one until you go on other visits. And then he went to UConn. And the interesting thing was, he said, what really sold him on UConn was at Alabama, he had to sneak into the football game. At UConn, he got to sit right on the 50. And so he was like, I want a place that prioritizes basketball over football. And I was like, okay. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I didn't never know that story. So it's kind of interesting. But let's get into your roster countdown. It is a very important one. It is London Simmons. This is a guy who was not heavily recruited, and Alabama loved him from the jump, and he ends up signing with the Tide and doing pretty well last year.
He was another guy like Caleb Edwards we talked a couple days ago that was a summer arrival, and whenever there's a summer arrival, I think we have a tendency as fans to say, okay, well, he wasn't here for the spring semester. There's no way he's going to get caught up. He'll redshirt for sure. Yet every year, that's just seemingly not the case. I mean, for instance, Ryan Williams wasn't, he was a late arrival too. He was one of the best players on the team that fall. London Simmons being this good this quickly was a shock. I think almost all of us would have assumed that it would take a hot minute for him, being a 3-star, being kind of a camp guy. The fact that he would be so immediately impactful, I don't think people realize how immediate and how impactful he was. Let me tell y'all a couple of things about London Simmons that may surprise y'all. And it kind of explains why he's all the way up here as the 10th best player on the team this fall. This is how immediately impactful he was. He started game number 2. Game number 2 of his career at Alabama, he was a starter, right? Not just playing with the ones, which he did in game 1, but in game 2, he was a starter. He would also go on to start another game last year. So he not only he's done nothing but play with the first team. He started 2 games. Beyond that, I think it would have shocked people to have learned this. It certainly shocked me when I'm looking over statistics from last year. London Simmons basically was the backup nose guard. And by the backup, I mean, he sort of would come in when Keenan would come out, but they substitute so much. He played a lot of snaps, right? Even as the backup nose guard, he made more tackles last year than Justin Hill. I mean, we were talking the other day, Justin Hill is just ranked just kind of right behind him. London Simmons had 19 tackles. That's a lot of production, A, from that position, and B, he's only out there part of the time. Had a sack and a half, had a half a sack, I think, against Oklahoma in the playoff. This kid just has enormous upside, and here's the main reason I put him at 10, though, Luke. All those things are factors, but the main reason, last year was sort of the number 2 nose guard. Keenan would come out, London Simmons would come in. He's very likely being moved over to James Smith's spot to kind of A, make room for Terrence Green, and B, this is probably a better position for him at 305 than being the backup nose guard. Tim Keenan weighed in at the NFL Combine around 330. London Simmons trying to play the same spot at 305. London's actually built more like James Smith, and that 3-tech position is actually a better position in terms of making plays. And I think that's what they want London Simmons to do. Make plays, tackles for losses, push the pocket, get after the quarterback even. I think they think he's capable of doing those type things. So London Simmons, out of nowhere, probably the lowest regarded signee in his class. 1 year later, I have him ranked as the 10th best player on the whole football team.
And to clarify, because some people have asked this, I've seen on the Discord and I've seen on Twitter, people have said, well, hey, what about this guy coming in or that guy coming in? This ranking is for dudes only on the roster at the moment. So, frankly, I mean, his ranking will probably drop when everybody gets in. It might not. I mean, he's good. He's a good player. And I'm trying to think.
It's really how to evaluate players, how they did this spring, because you can look at this pre-spring ranking. There will be a post-spring ranking that will lead us all the way to fall camp. Sure. That will include everyone, because now they're all college football players. I'm just not going to rank the true freshmen as high as I am on EJ Crowell and CD Morgan. As high as I am on them, they're not college football players yet. In my opinion, they're not college football players until they've participated in 15 practices against college football players. Then we'll have a better idea of where to rank them in terms of where if they're going to be impactful on the team this fall or not. So this ranking only includes Alabama players that returned from last year plus transfer portal guys, because we've seen that they've played college football. It was somewhere else, and we might know less about them than we know the Alabama guys, but they're college football players. That's why this ranking has nothing to do with your high school recruiting ranking. It has nothing to do with that. It's what you've done as a college football player.
Yeah, no doubt. And I think that's the best way to do it at the moment. But again, going back to London Simmons, I mean, I think this is a guy that's got a ton of potential. Really like his size, really like his motor. He, like you said, he had 18 tackles or 17 tackles?
19.
Okay. Look, 19. He's already getting better.
That's a surprising number for backup nose guard when the number 2 outside linebacker we're totally stoked about had 15 tackles. Nope. You're still on your mute streak. I think that was
dang it. I didn't even mean to hit it.
You're getting streaky about it, which is kind of interesting.
I am streaky.
You went like a couple weeks without doing it once. Now it's several. It's streaky. It reminds me of the Alabama-Tennessee football series.
It's like a shooter. If he's not making any, he's just got to keep shooting until he makes that one. Then he'll make 7 in a row. If I'm not muting, I just got to keep trying to mute until I finally mute. But I did want to bring this up. Cameron Bishop, friend of the program, appreciate him very much. Super dude. Ross Dellinger reported the other day about the NCAA proposing stiff penalties on schools for adding transfers outside the portal window. The head coach will be prohibited from all football recruiting and on-field coaching and administrative duties through the 6th contest of the season, and the school would be fined 20% of his football budget. I think all this sounds wonderful in theory. First of all, what is the budget? Is the budget what you know? Is the budget the $20.5 million?
The rev share. Yeah, the budget's the rev share, not NIL.
Because, I mean, if it's the budget, then, LSU better be like shaking in their boots, and Ole Miss too, for that matter.
I think it's
frankly, everybody.
Budget. No, not football rev share budget. I think it would be the athletic department rev share budget, which last year was $20.5 million for last year.
20% of that is $4 million.
That's a lot to lose. I mean,
it's not chump change, but
4 highly impactful players, because you're not paying a lot of players out of the rev share, although it does.
I think that's the only way to do it, though. And I've said this all along. The only way you really are going to get results from this is if you hit schools in their pocketbooks. That's the only, because that's what they're doing it for to begin with.
No, that's exactly right. That's a great point, and I couldn't agree more. And there needs to be more harsh penalties for something like this. And again, for those who are like, what is this even talking about? You can't transfer. There's no portal window. That's the point. It's to prevent the idea. Some agents have told their players out there that, hey, look, you don't need a transfer portal window. All you have to do is just withdraw from the school you're at. Just withdraw. Withdraw from Wisconsin. Just withdraw from the university. You are no longer a student there. Now, drive all the way down to Coral Gables, down to Miami, and enroll there. There's nothing they can do to stop that from happening. That's what these players are being told by some agents. And this was a way to head that off. The non-official transfer. Hey, you can't stop me from doing this. Well, they can't stop a player from leaving a school. They can't stop that player from enrolling somewhere else. This is what they can stop. They can stop the coach from putting you on the field and taking you on the team, because they can punish the heck out of the coach for doing that. So that's the way they're approaching this. They're not punishing the player. They're punishing the coach that took a kid, that took a transfer who didn't utilize the transfer portal window.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And again, I in theory, this all sounds wonderful. In practice, I don't know how in the world you do it. Another thing I want to throw out there, I had to drive to Starkville, Mississippi today and back. I'm already back. I listened to, and I don't really like to, and I hate that I don't like this guy, because I think Rick Neuhausen was probably a cool guy, but he gets on these rants about how college football should collectively go to the table and bargain as one giant entity, all 136 teams, as he said. And he said, but the SEC and the Big Ten won't do it. Yeah, they won't. Tell me why Ohio State is like, yeah, Western Kentucky's as important as we are. No offense to the Hilltoppers, but for the love of God, we know they're not as important.
Yeah. No one, Josh brings us up, Josh Pate, he brings us up all the time. I couldn't agree more. The problem is, by not having a commissioner, the only entity out there that looks out for the best interests of college football is the NCAA, which is sort of an organization no one anywhere has any real confidence in. All the SEC commissioner, the Big Ten commissioner, they're looking out for the SEC and the Big Ten. They're not looking out for the best interests of college football. No one out there is doing what's best for all of it, which is why so many people push for a commissioner. But at the same time, until they get a handle on NIL, the revenue share, the transfer portal, and all this eligibility crap, until they get a handle on it, having a commissioner is just useless, because every decision the commissioner made, he's just going to be sued, or college sports is going to be sued no differently than it is now. When someone doesn't like a decision about eligibility, they just run to the courthouse.
Exactly. And the only one who loses, of course, is Charles Bediako. Let me tell everybody about 5 Hour Energy. Love 5 Hour Energy. Welcome to the 5 Hour Energy Flavor Draft, with 18 different flavors to choose from, including new options like confetti craze or fruity rainbow or cotton candy. There's something for everybody. The board is set, the flavors are ready, and I've got my number one pick for the 5 Hour Energy Flavor Draft. Look, my favorite, far and away, is that confetti craze. I'm a sucker for that. It is just fantastic. Not overly sweet, but sweet enough. It's a birthday cake inspired flavor. I love birthday cake.
Notes of birthday cakes are outstanding, so this has to be just fantastic.
It's delicious. It has notes of vanilla frosting and hints of sugary sprinkles. That's what I like about it. I must got a sweet tooth, so I'm down with this. And next week, let me tell you what, I'm going to load up on some confetti craze, because next week I'm calling the HSA games, and I'm calling 4 games in a row, 2 days in a row, and I'm going to need all the confetti craze I can stuff down my gullet. I can tell you that right now. Jimmy's favorite, of course, is fruity rainbow. He'll never admit it, but it is. And they're all other kind of flavors at 5 Hour Energy. You want to go check out 5 Hour Energy right now and get that order in. You really do. You need to go get a big order of 5 Hour Energy. You will love it. That's 5hourenergy.com. Go check them out. 5hourenergy.com. That's the number 5, by the way. The number 5. And I think I forgot to put this up here, so I'm going to do it right now. Where's my little 5 Hour Energy? There it is. Look there. There it is right there. I told you, 5hourenergy.com.
Looks all Eastery. Looks all Easter egg, which is great for this time of the year.
Yeah, it is. That's very fitting. We should get into that one day. Like, how did we ever get from Easter, we get associated with eggs? I don't understand.
A rabbit delivering eggs.
Yeah.
How did that?
But I'll say this: those Cadbury eggs are worth it. Cadbury's not even paying me, and I'm anyway.
Some Easter candy is just. We ought to have a ranking. No, we rank the whole roster. We'll rank Easter candy soon.
I'm gonna rank Game Time, and I'll rank them number 1. The biggest stretch of the college basketball season is almost here. Buzzer beaters, bracket busters, and those unforgettable moments that everyone's talking about the next day. Being there live for something like that, that's bucket list stuff. The hard part is always getting the tickets. Long queues, prices jumping up at checkout, and all that stuff. Surprise fees. The Game Time app gives fans the advantage with constant innovation. It's how you unlock amazing ticket deals and experiences in just a few taps. It's incredibly simple to use. The Game Time guarantee means 100% legitimate tickets delivered on time at the best price, baby. They ain't messing around. I love being able to follow the teams in the app and get alerts when new deals drop. No stress, no guesswork, just smooth experience from start to finish. That's exactly what you want during the busiest part of the season. Take the guesswork out of buying college basketball tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDON for $20 off. Terms apply because they apply to everything. Again, create an account, use and redeem code LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Jimmy Stein guarantee.
I was guarantee you just on Game Time because I'm going to concerts, and I just don't go to a concert without consulting using
Who is it?
Going to see Jelly Roll at the Wharf this summer. He's also playing Birmingham at UAB's football stadium alone, but he's also doing a solo show at the Wharf in Orange Beach.
We've already talked about this, Jimmy. We're all tired of Jelly Roll. I like his story. I appreciate the redemption. I appreciate his conviction. I appreciate his religion. Man, I'm jelly rolled out. I mean, he's on everything.
Yeah, it's one of my wife's favorites. So she's sort of driving the pony here.
And every time I see him, he's got like 9 more tattoos.
I like the songs. Well, there's a lot less of him than there used to be.
The only tattoo he doesn't have is the one that was on Fantasy Island. That's the only tattoo he doesn't have. All right. Anyway, Bama, Tennessee, tomorrow at 5:00 in Knox Vegas. Bama had them last year. We had them on the ropes there in Knoxville, and we let it slip away. Tennessee, I mean, again, I hate to admit it. I think it's very fair to say, just like we've beaten Mississippi State 10 in a row, we got their number. Tennessee has our number. I hate saying it. I don't like it. It's not fun.
I think it's style of play.
Maybe a little. And also, I just think these things can get in your program's head, like collectively. And sometimes you just can't understand it. For instance, the way, Michigan was beating Ohio State there for a little bit, or Ohio State beating Michigan, like it just didn't matter. They're still going to beat them. Alabama beating Tennessee on this long run. Now, granted, that was a little different because of the talent discrepancy. But sometimes they're just New England beating somebody back in the day when you didn't think they were quite as talented. All those things. It's just, it may be in our heads a little bit, and they are more physical than us. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Now, let me say, could the fact that Bediako not be at this one be advantageous for the Tide?
I know this from talking to Eric Kane. I did a crossover with Tennessee balls, locked on balls.
That'll be out later today, by the way.
They took a lot of pride. I mean, they're always happy to beat Alabama. Of course, they'd be happy to beat Alabama in women's tennis. They take a lot of pride in beating Alabama when we had Bediako. That's a thing to them. In other words, it's a thing to them. And I understand that. I'm not saying they're wrong for feeling that way. They're taking extra pride. Hey, that was the game where Alabama used Bediako, who was later determined to be ineligible. So I think it would be really cool if Alabama could pull this off and beat Tennessee without Bediako. And heck, who knows who Alabama will be without. Man, I saw a stat earlier. I'll be taking the rest of the show to describe it, but friend of the show, Brett sent me the stat. Just blew me away. But it's like, these are the most efficient offensive sets in college basketball. And by set, they're describing this 3 players. When 3 players are on the floor in any order, when are you the most efficient offensively? Alabama had 3 of the top 20 in the whole nation. 3. Now I'm talking about 3 different combos. But here's the weird thing. Amari Allen and Aiden Holloway were in every one of them. It was Allen and Holloway and a third guy every time. No Phylon. No Phylon. Now, that's just one set of metrics, one set of stats. But it blew me away and made me appreciate even more Aiden Holloway and Amari Allen. Basically what it's saying is, hey, when those 2 are on the court, Alabama is just simply the most efficient offensive team in all of college basketball. Because, and I think it was Aiden Sherrill that was what was number 1. Allen, Holloway, and Sherrill. When the 3 of them are on the court together, Alabama is the most efficient offense in college basketball.
Well, I like that. And that's very positive. And I do think there's going to be something to be said for Bediako's absence. Again, This is not to throw shade at Bediako. I wanted him on the team, and I think had he been able to stay on the
he
team,
played for Team Canada last night.
he did. That's hilarious.
In Puerto Rico.
That makes so much sense. That is exactly. If you had asked me, Luke, what do you think Bediako did last night? I'd be like,
I'm not sure
he
which.
played maybe for Canada in a territory of the United States, not even a state. All right.
Congratulations, by the way, too, since we're talking Bama basketball. I'm moved emotionally by this. I thought it was really cool. Grant Nelson signed a 10-day deal with the Nets, which means he's getting the G League promotion to the big leagues. Grant Nelson will be an NBA basketball player for the next 10 days. Maybe that's the only 10 days in his whole life. We don't know. Or it might be the start of a long career in the NBA. We don't know. But now he's an NBA player forever. Mark Sears can say the same thing. He was active for the Bucks, to start the season. An NBA player for life. All I need is you to be on a roster one day. You're an NBA player for life. I think that's really cool. So congratulations, Grant Nelson, NBA basketball player.
That is awesome. I'm very happy for him. And hey, he's been in the NBA longer than Charles Bediako now.
100% true.
But, I look back on the Tennessee-Bama game. Alabama had a 3-point lead at the half against Tennessee, and they were looking pretty good. And it just seemed like Tennessee imposed their will on us a little more, and we were held to 73 points. That's not us. That's just not us. I'll tell you, I heard a stat today. Alabama in its history has had 106 100-point games. How many of them do you think are under Oats?
Out of 106?
Mm-hmm.
60.
Oh, come on, man. 38. But 38's incredibly impressive considering
I knew it would be a number that blew me away. So I was trying to pick a number. I'm like, this is going to blow me away. 60 would have blown me away. 38 is still. So basically more than a third. Yeah. More than a third of all the 100-point games Alabama's ever has been just in the past.
38% to be exact. I mean, it's wild. I think it's 38%. That's what I heard. I didn't do the math. But, so look, for those who still say Oats can't take us here, Oats can't do that, we need to kiss the ground Nate Oats walks on.
Both, back-to-back Elite Eights, the only Final Four in school history. I mean, what more? All the trophies, SEC championships, tournament championships. If anybody out there is, it's a waste of breath responding to critic. A waste of breath.
Mm-hmm. No, I totally agree. Just insanity. But when we come back, we're going to talk about some miscellaneous stuff. Big weekend ahead for all things Bama. Right now, I'm going to tell you about a new sponsor. That's Coast. We appreciate you, Coast. Coast Pay is giving Locked On College listeners up to $2,000 credit for your business when you get started today. If you manage a crew, construction, HVAC, landscaping, any operation with trucks on the road, you already know how messy gas and material spending can get. Cards get shared, receipts disappear, and the month end turns into a headache. Coast Pay fix all that. Coast Pay is the modern fuel card and expense management tool built specifically for fleets, fuel, maintenance, materials, all that stuff, all on one card with the real control and instant visibility. Look, every transaction shows up the moment it happens. No surprises. If someone fuels up at an odd time or tries to buy something outside their limit, you'll know instantly. You'll be able to catch them. Right now, Coast Pay is offering our listeners up to $2,000 credit when you get started at coastpay.com/lockedoncollege. Coastpay.com/lockedoncollege. Go to coastpay.com/lockedoncollege to see how you can earn up to a $2,000 credit. My goodness. Terms apply because they apply to everything. The Coast Visa commercial credit card is issued by Celtic Bank. All card accounts are subject to credit approval. Jimmy Stein guarantees your credit approval.
Oh.
He does not guarantee your credit approval. I'm just teasing. Might have to edit that out.
I wouldn't even really know how.
Jimmy's like, sir, Jimmy Stein said he approved my credit. And okay, well, can you tell us what his source is? Yeah, his source is trust me, bro.
I'm Seinfeld. I'm Jerry Seinfeld, and I'm Jerry Seinfeld in the conversation with Kramer about what a write-off is. Kramer said,
There's the one writing it off.
Jerry, they just write it off. It's like, I don't even know.
Okay. So combine stuff. I know some dudes are going today. How did everybody do yesterday? All that good. Damani Jackson actually, by the way, Damani Jackson like had there's video of him. They were asking about the Alabama DB room for next year. He was like, yeah, it's stacked, but Dijon Lee is going to be the next big thing. Shocking.
Well, Dijon's who kind of, shoehorned Damani out of the starting lineup. So I'm glad he's still giving a positive review to Dijon. He lost a lot of snaps to him, but yesterday, I thought the guys largely did pretty well. Deontay Lawson did not run. He's going to run on pro day. As we all know, Deontay has fought lots of injury issues over the time, so I think he wants to put off the 40 for as long as he can to get as healthy as possible and then run it on friendly ground. LT Overton at over 270 pounds ran a time in the 4.6s, which is just fantastic. Justin Jefferson did well with a 4.58 in the 40, and Tim Keenan ran 5.3, but I don't think anybody cares really what nose guards run. So he was around 5'3". It was a great day at the combine. A lot of big-time players with big-time performances. Guys like Sonny Styles at Ohio State and David Bailey from Stanford, Arvell Reese from Ohio State. They were otherworldly with their performances. But the Alabama guys did well. I don't think anyone – I think LT Overton may have helped himself the most. But no one hurt themselves. I do think, again – to be a cold, wet blanket here, I do think Alabama's got double-digit guys drafted, which is amazing because I don't know that anybody's done that more than Alabama. So I do think double-digit guys will get drafted. I just think a difference between this draft and previous drafts is a lot of it's going to happen on day 3. I think there'll be a lot of Alabama players. Of Alabama's, let's say, 12 or 13 players that get drafted, I think the vast majority will be day 3 guys. But, hey, you know what you call them? NFL football players. Oh, you muted again.
Oh, God dang it. I even used my Money Burns impression. Exactly.
That's not as good. No, do it again.
Exactly.
That's not one of your best.
Dude, no, well, actually, it's Homer Simpson doing Monty Burns.
Okay. That's not bad.
That's like Homer, because, he always went, excellent. And then Homer tried to act like him, and he said, exactly. And he goes, no. So anyway,
went deep on that one. Okay, good.
So baseball, softball, baseball's got a matchup with Iowa today. I mean, raise your hand if you knew Iowa had a baseball team.
Yeah, well, Alabama's got, it's an interesting weekend for Alabama baseball. They got kind of whacked by Southern Miss. On the one hand, it means nothing because you lost on the road to the number 12 team in the country, so it means nothing. On the other hand, the team's been struggling to score runs, and the Southern Miss game was sort of a bottoming out. 3 games this weekend in Frisco against Iowa, ranked Oregon State, and Houston. Solid competition all weekend. If Alabama goes 0-3, there's some real problems here. You better go 1-2, and frankly, 2-1 or 3-0, and you feel like, okay, we overreacted to Southern Miss and a couple other things. But yeah, it's a big weekend for Alabama baseball. Exactly how good or average is this team? We might find out.
And then softball, I mean, dude, it's funny. Just when everybody seemingly gave up on Pat Murphy.
Not everybody. Some people did.
Well, I say everybody facetiously. You and I are Pat Murphy is a buddy of mine. I got his number in my phone. I say he's a buddy. He's not a buddy of mine at all. I met him at the Wisconsin game in Madison a few years ago and told him I want to get him on the show, and we still haven't. But now that they're really good, I'm going to do it.
Softball is outstanding. They are absolutely a College World Series contender. They are every year, but I mean, every year, this is amazing about Pat Murphy. This is why no one should ever talk about anything other than how great he is. Pat Murphy has been at Alabama 30 years and has delivered Alabama to the College World Series 16 times. Mm-hmm. Over half of his 30 years ended in the College World Series. And this team not only, to me, Luke, looks like, well, I think Alabama's going to be in Oklahoma City again at the end. This is a team that could get there and win. I mean, they're a complete team thanks to the freshman pitchers. We knew, man, if those freshman pitchers are good, this team could be great. So far, they're very, very good, both of them. Heck, the one that's not as good as the other one threw the 6th perfect game in Alabama history the other day. And she's not as good as the other freshman.
Yeah, it's crazy. Wonderful stuff. So, all right, we may go live after Tennessee tomorrow. I don't. Or can we? I don't know. I might. I mean, I don't know.
I gotta feel better. I'm a little under the weather here.
Are you really?
Yeah. I mean, all this moving. I mean, it took the move took 6 weeks and was so grueling this week. Finally in Tuscaloosa for good. Finally here, and I wake up and I'm like, I'm sick.
I told you not to use Wuhan moving. All right, that's going to do.
I shouldn't have eaten that raw bat.
All right, that's going to do it for today's pod. We'll be back soon with more, and there'll be another pod out today, which is a crossover with Jimmy and the Tennessee guy, Eric Kane. So we'll be back. Roll Tide, everybody.
Roll Tide.